All right, let's talk about the Kemba Knicks thing, and then we can go to other stuff in the NBA. So, Kemba Walker is no longer in the Knicks rotation. Alec Burks is going to be the starting point guard. And, I mean, Tibbs already had a thing about playing too many small guards, and that's why Kemba's out here. And maybe we could still see Kemba back in the rotation in some capacity in, like, I don't know, 10 to 15 games or so, but I would imagine he's going to get some pretty low minutes for a while here. Look, I mean, we've all seen the starters' minutes thing with the Knicks. It's been rough, and it's not a coincidence to me that you go down Kemba Walker's game logs, and it's a lot of games where he scores like 7 points. It's kind of ironic that the last game he played, he had like 17, but look, man, the days of Kemba just beating teams with a million pick and rolls a game and bailing you out of possessions with ISOs and making a bunch of contested threes and crossovers and all that nice stuff, he can still do that stuff, but just not every game. And if he can't do that at least every game, then on the flip side with the defense, it's just kind of rough to play him high minutes. Now, as far as the choice to go with Alec Burks, I mean, he's certainly a lot bigger than Kemba. And maybe Tibbs is just going for size, and they won't have like a lead ball handler, I guess, in the starting five. It can be a bit of everybody. Because Alec Burks is definitely not a guy that you want running your offense, but I guess he technically is the point guard now. But, I mean, you look at that starting five, Burks, Fournier, Barrett, Randall, all those guys can dribble. So we'll see if this is the jump start the Knicks need. So the Celtics beat the Raptors. That makes me happy. But I want to start with Scottie Barnes, who was great last night. He had 5 offensive rebounds, that one leading to an assist to Van Vliet. And then he did a similar thing later on. Unfortunately for him, Siakam did not give him the assist, but in his last 5 games, Barnes is up to 3.5 offensive rebounds and almost 4.5 assists. He also attempted 9 threes against the Celtics, and he made 4 of them. That was kind of wild, because I do think he's been a little hesitant to shoot threes like that. And I don't know if somebody got in his ear or he just had some random inspiration, but okay. I don't think anybody's expecting him to be awesome from 3 right now. And that's okay, because he does so many other things well. But hey, listen, if you want to make contested threes over Jaylen Brown, then go for it. Now, a couple of his 2-pointers from this game show that they are willing to let him work off the dribble. I mean, he is second on this team in touches per game. He's basically tied with Siakam, as that was a 2-man game with Watanabe here. Achua with the screen, and this is a really wild-looking hook shot. It works. Now let's look at some more Scottie assists, because why not? That's a fake handoff action with Van Vliet. Gets Turner to commit. We got Achua cutting baseline. Scottie sees him all the way. Now for this one, Chris Boucher does himself favors by getting right to the front of the rim. TJ McConnell's fronting the post. Not everybody has the guts to make this pass. Luckily, Scottie Barnes is, 6'9" or whatever? Which is partly why Scottie is so exciting. I mean, tall playmakers, when they hit, they can be really impactful. And I'm actually calling an audible on the more assists thing, because he had 9 free throw attempts against Indiana. The guy has these moments where he is hell-bent on getting to the basket, and he does not care who's in front of him. It has not happened every game. I mean, there have been times when Scottie's free throw attempts are a little down, but he's also had a few, or slightly more than a few, really, where he's had at least 5 or 6 free throw attempts. And I'm just saying, I don't want to get carried away, but 6'9" dude who can create his own offense, make plays for other guys, and get a lot of trips to the line. I mean, sure, he's not all the way there at this moment, but given his starting point, I mean, my goodness. And you know what? Here's one more offensive rebound into an assist for Scottie Barnes. It's the ultimate way to bump up your My Player grade. Anyway, in other news, the Grizzlies got a win without Ja Morant. Desmond Bane had himself a solid performance, about 18 points. Now averaging 16 points on the season, and me forever being sad that the Celtics drafted him and then traded him. For the sake of Semi Ojeleye, Javonte Green? I don't know what it was. That was a nice off-ball action for him. In fact, this season he's second on the Grizzlies in touches per game. In his rookie season, he was 10th. And he busts out a nice step back here. If you thought Desmond Bane was just going to be a 3-and-D guy, well, look out, because he's a 3-and-D guy who can also dribble guy, which means he's just a good overall NBA player. Once again, the Celtics literally traded him. Why can I never be happy? Now it's Bucks-Pacers, where Bobby Portis had 15 points. I haven't seen any of these. I'm going to guess none of these were a play call for him. an offensive rebound. Here, he sets a down screen for Middleton around the free throw line, and that's just a simple dive to the rim. Bobby Portis is similar to John Collins, where just him simply setting screens and playing hard can result in him giving you a good point production. Also, just to mention Giannis for a little bit, because of course I did not have him in that way too early MVP video. I think you can officially put him in the inner circle right now. I mean, it's probably going to take about another week before it really ramps up. I figure I'll just get slightly ahead of it now. The guy is doing everything you expect, and now they've won 7 in a row. Now let's look at the Lakers. I want to look at Westbrook's assists. A great way to help out your offense is starting very early in a possession. And here's another example. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Westbrook has already pushed the pace. And what happens is he scans the floor, he's got LeBron with some momentum, and he just bullies his way through Killian Hayes. And here we have a good old Westbrook-Anthony Davis pick and roll. And I love to see it. Another possession where Westbrook attacks really early. This time it's a bucket for himself. And while Russ did still shoot his fair share of jumpers in this game, of which he mostly made, it was good to see him pass one up for a layup here. One thing to make note of with this play, some more minutes with no big guy. Does that mean LeBron's technically the center? I guess so. And here's a LeBron AD pick and roll for you as well. I think this is the best that all 3 of the Lakers' stars have played in the same game. Now, while I'm here, I do want to talk about Cade for a little bit. His shooting numbers have not exactly been beautiful for his past few games. I'm still not really concerned. I think it's at least fair to point it out, at least. However, I think the thing to be encouraged about with Cade, even if he is missing some shots, is he's able to get to his spots. Like how he muscled through Bradley there, or here where, I mean, he eventually gets blocked by AD, but he got from the three-point line to the dunker spot in about 2 seconds. THT did hold sturdy on that play, though. Here he gets by Malik Monk. Did he dribble into traffic? I mean, yeah, kinda. But still, he can get by his guy. I mean, here's a play where we've got 7 seconds on the clock, nothing's happening in this offense, he's just got to create something out of nothing. And what happens? Well, that's exactly what he does. He beats THT off the dribble and he gets a tough layup. We can look at his misses against the Clippers. Here it's just Zubats and drop coverage. Teams are going to dare him to make that shot. Another play where Cade gets to his spot well enough, the shot just doesn't drop. Now, as for why he's missing open threes, I have no idea, man.